Don't start a relationship during emotional freefall. Why timing is everything in love. Love is a beautiful, transformative force, but even the most powerful love can falter when it arrives at the wrong time, especially during moments of personal turmoil. If either person is in emotional freefall, grappling with loss, confusion, instability, or identity crises, then stepping into a romantic relationship might feel like a rescue. In reality, it often becomes an emotional collision. What may seem like love in the moment is frequently just a coping mechanism in disguise, and the result, a connection built on unstable ground that eventually cracks under pressure. Choosing to delay a relationship during periods of emotional chaos isn't an act of fear or avoidance. It's an act of wisdom and protection. It's about honoring both yourself and the other person by refusing to build something meaningful at a time when neither of you can fully show up for it. Emotional freefall isn't a weakness, but it's a warning. We all go through periods of distress. These phases might be triggered by heartbreak, trauma, burnout, grief, or even deep personal change. During these times, emotions can feel overwhelming, and the urge to find comfort is strong. Many people instinctively reach for companionship, a new relationship, a romantic distraction, or someone to make it all feel okay. But this reaction, while understandable, is often short-sighted. Emotional freefall is a sign that your foundation is unstable. You're not grounded. Your sense of identity may be unclear, your boundaries are likely weakened, and your needs may shift from day to day. In that state, even the most well-intentioned relationship can become entangled in confusion, projection, or emotional codependency. You're not in a position to love clearly. You're in survival mode. The problem with starting something too soon. Starting a relationship during emotional chaos often leads to a dynamic that's not based on real compatibility, but on temporary relief. Instead of forming a bond rooted in mutual understanding, healthy communication, and stability, you might unknowingly create one based on emotional rescue, escape, or dependence. Here's what can happen. Yesterday, you might expect your partner to fix your pain or fill your emptiness. You may become overly reliant on the relationship for a sense of worth or safety. Inner volatility can lead to confusion, miscommunication, and mistrust. Your partner, if stable, may feel overwhelmed or burdened by your intensity. They're also struggling. The relationship may spiral into a chaotic push and pull. What's missing here is the clarity and emotional regulation needed to build a partnership, not just survive together. Love isn't just about feelings, it's about readiness. We tend to romanticize the idea of love as something spontaneous, unstoppable, and powerful enough to override logic. But real, sustainable love doesn't just depend on feelings. It also requires timing, maturity, emotional responsibility, and readiness. You may genuinely care about someone, but if one or both of you are not in a stable place, the connection will likely suffer. Just because a relationship can begin doesn't mean it should begin, not right now. Love is a seed. If planted in harsh conditions, it may sprout, but it won't thrive. It needs fertile ground, regular care, and room to grow. That ground is built through emotional health and inner security. This isn't about avoiding love, it's about protecting it. Some people fear that waiting means missing out on love, but love that comes too early can become distorted. What begins as affection can mutate into anxiety. What starts with connection can end in disillusionment. Delaying a relationship doesn't mean you're running from love. It means you're protecting its potential by refusing to rush into something before either of you are ready to carry it. This pause allows space for healing, reflection, and growth. It gives you a chance to rebuild your self-worth from within, rather than attaching it to someone else. And it ensures that when you do step into a relationship, it's with full presence, intention, and emotional maturity. Healing first helps you love better later. Taking time to stabilize yourself emotionally through therapy, self-reflection, rest, and inner work builds a foundation that can support a healthy relationship later on. When you know who you are, what you need, and how to communicate those needs, you become a better partner. You'll no longer seek someone to save you. You'll seek someone to walk beside you. You'll be able to hold space for someone else without drowning in your own emotions. And you'll be able to spot red flags, enforce boundaries, and nurture intimacy without falling into patterns of emotional chaos. That's the kind of love that lasts, not because it avoids difficulty, but because it's rooted in strength. If you're already in a relationship that began during a difficult time, don't panic. This doesn't mean you're doomed, it just means you need awareness. Ask yourself, are we relating out of need or choice? Or is supporting each other's healing or avoiding our own? Clearly or projecting unresolved pain? You can grow together if both people are willing to do the emotional work, not just for the relationship, but for themselves. But sometimes the healthiest thing to do is to take a step back and allow space for individual growth before continuing together. Final thought: the right love can wait. The idea of right person, wrong time may sound cliché, but there's truth in it. Sometimes love needs space to become what it's meant to be. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do, for yourself and for another person, is to say, not now. You're not broken for needing time to heal. You're not weak for recognizing your limits, and you're not closing the door to love by choosing yourself first. You're simply giving that future relationship a real chance, one that isn't built from pain, but from peace. Because the best relationships aren't about saving one another. They're about choosing each other, fully and freely, when both of you are ready to love from a place of strength, not survival.